Each week here on Ag PhD, we have what we call our Farm Basics time, and this is where we'll take usually a common thing that we as farmers will do and try to make sure that we simplify that, so even if you're not a farmer, you understand what we're doing out in the field and why we're doing it in the field.
Well, and our topic today is strip tillage. What is strip tillage? And first of all, I know it sounds kind of weird. Well, why would you do tillage just in strips? Does that mean every so many feet you're going to till something up? And kind of. What we're doing with strip tillage is we're just going to do some tillage right where we're going to plant our seed. So maybe just a few inches wide for every row that we're going to have out in our field.
So if you go back 50 or 100 years, most people did what we would call full tillage or conventional tillage, where every single acre had some tillage done. Well, over the last 25 or 30 years, there have been a lot of farmers who've talked about no-till or no tillage being done at all out in the field. So they literally harvest and then they wait, and when they need to plant the next crop, they go right back in and then they just plant. Okay, well, we did a whole bunch of no-till for about 10 years, and here were the two problems we ran into. Our soil was really cold, so we didn't have very good emergence. And then the other thing is, we didn't have a good way to put fertilizer down in the ground. Because keep in mind, a lot of the roots on plants are going to be down at 6 inches, 12 inches, 20 inches deep, and we weren't getting any fertility anywhere close to that. All our fertility was very shallow because certain nutrients don't move down in the soil very well. So we had those two issues, and we said, how can we possibly fix those? Well, there were a lot of people around the country who were doing strip till, and we thought, you know what, let's try that, and that actually has solved our problems. Now we've got a warm strip to plant into in the spring, and also with the shank that we're using, we're able to place fertilizer about 8 to 10 inches deep.
Now, how much of a difference does it make on our farm? The first day that we've planted, the last 2 seasons, we've been 7 degrees warmer in the soil in the strip versus in between the strips. That's a huge difference for our seeds, and we're getting faster emergence out of the soil. The other thing is, we only have to go through the fields once. So you may think, oh, this sounds like so much more work. Yeah, it is one more pass that we've got to make through the field, but
compared to no-till.
But in addition to putting down the fertility, we're also preparing the seed bed for the next spring. So we can just go right into those strips in the spring, and the first pass that we make in the field is with our planter.
So instead of conventional till, where we're doing usually a couple tillage passes and a couple of fertilizer passes, so basically we have 4 trips over the field. Now we combine that and we go with just 1 trip over the field.
It's still been a great method of soil conservation for us. We did love that aspect of no-till. But with the strip till, what we've been doing in our corn stalks, for example, is chopping them a little bit higher. So when we come through and harvest our corn, we'll leave about an 18-inch tall stalk in many cases, and that's going to hold residue in place. It's going to catch some snow for us in the winter, which is wonderful because we can utilize that moisture when the snow melts in the spring. And it just does such a nice job for us keeping the soil in place too.
Okay, so I just want you to understand, if you're a farmer and you do no-till or you do conventional till, we're not trying to talk everybody into doing strip till. We only do it on about half our ground anyway. But the big thing we want you to understand if you're a non-farmer is there are many different ways to do tillage or no-till, or like we're talking about here, just tillage in strips. So a lot of different ways to farm. This is just one of the things that we've found, and a lot of people around the world have found work for them.
Well, this method of tillage certainly hasn't helped us with our weed of the week. We'll show you what can stop this week's weed later in the show.